Hey guys, welcome back to the old mill shed. So I apologize for the wind today. It was raining all day yesterday. It's pretty nasty, and I didn't have a chance to shoot this video, and today is really windy. You can hear a lot of vehicles going up and down the road. I guess we're going to find out if this new microphone I bought is worth all the money that I paid. So there was a post online. Let me pull this up real quick. I want to read it to you word for word, and then we'll go from there. It says, anyone know where I could find and hire a mentor to help me with learning and operating my TO20 Central Virginia, my first tractor? Congratulations. TO20 is a great little machine to start with. Questions about everything beginning with starting it, attaching and switching out implements, disabling and enabling the PTO, when and how to do it, weight limits on implements and how to safely operate them, just basically everything that a person would need to know in order to operate a tractor safely and competently. Okay, well, there's a lot to unpack in that. First of all, everything you do, you want to do safe and look like you're headed down the right path on that. Safety is always number one. I have a video, it's episode 7, I will link it in the description below, that covers a lot of your questions, everything except on how to attach and remove implements. We're going to cover that now. Okay, so the first thing you want to do anytime you're hooking up implements is you want to take your drawbar off. And this is covered more in episode 7, but it's just a little lynch pin with a pin underneath here. And that slides out. Put your drawbar pin and your lynch pin back in for safekeeping. Make sure your lynch pin is locked when you put it back in, because you don't want to lose anything. They're not expensive, but you don't want to be buying a new one every couple weeks. Okay, so before we get into how to hook the implement up, let's go over the parts of the 3-point hitch or the Ferguson system, so when I'm explaining things to you, know what I'm talking about. First, we're going to start right here. These are your lift arms. These are your check chains that keeps these from getting into your tire. Your PTO sits here. Now I have a little cover on mine, and the reason that I run a cover on this machine does not have live hydraulics. So when you step on your clutch, the PTO quits turning and you no longer have hydraulic flow going to your 3-point system. Live hydraulics, the TO35 and newer, you step on your clutch and your PTO, your hydraulics continue to run. So your TO20, your TO30s, your 8 ends, your 2 ends, your 9 ends, might be some others I'm not thinking about, but when you step on your clutch, your PTO stops, your hydraulic pump stops. And I just run a cover on it just to keep it clean and keep me from getting into it while I'm back here working and the hydraulics are going. This is your top link. This hooks to the top part of the implement. It is adjustable. We'll be going over that later. I have a place for chains. We'll be going over that as well. These machines, especially in draft control, if you're running like a bush hog or something, lots of times they don't want to keep depth, especially on non-ground contacting implements. They won't want to stay at a certain depth very well. So we put chains on here so you can just let the quadrant all the way down and it'll stay put. I run chains especially when I'm bush hogging. You have your leveling box. This is so you can adjust the implement here and here. And then we have 2 pins underneath your axles here. I don't know if you can really see them that well in this shot, but we have bars that come back and it keeps your implement from shifting side to side. You're not required to run those. Some implements I do, some implements I don't. And then this machine, I've actually got a positional control installed, which will allow me to incrementally raise and lower the lift arms. It's not true positional control. It's not going to work as well as a modern machine, but it does give me somewhat more control than, say, just the original draft control. I'll leave a link to the system that I have in the description as well. And that's really about it as far as covering the 3-point hitch. Now, I'm going to fire Emmett up. We're going to go down here. I'm going to hook him up to my cultivators first, and then I will hook him up to the bush hog. Okay, so you notice when I backed up here, I kind of bumped the cultivators with my arms. And I was trying to square it up a little bit. I was paying more attention to the camera than I was the cultivators. That's a situation you probably won't be dealing with as much. But now that I'm backed up here, let's run these in just a little bit more. Let's focus in on this arm here. Alright. When I'm hooking these up, I will usually hook up the left side lift arm first. Reason being, if it's a little bit off level, I can take that out of the right side with the leveling box. And the left side doesn't have that option. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my linch pin up. Just a little far back. There we go. Now that's on there. Make sure you put your linch pins in. I was hooking a bush hog up one time when I forgot to put the linch pin in on one of the arms. I don't know what I was thinking, and went to pull off, and it dropped off and tore up my brand new bush hog. It wasn't that one, it was a different one I had. Now these pins on this cultivator are not long enough for me to run anti-sway bars or chains on. If you want to run those, you need to make sure your pins are a little bit longer. Let me show you what I'm talking about. After looking at this, I probably could throw a set of chains on this one if I wanted to. I think I've got enough room there. I don't have any extra room, that's for certain. But here's the pin that came on these cultivators as they were manufactured. And this is a aftermarket pin. I think I got it from Tractor Supply. See how much longer that is? And that will allow me, that longer pin there will allow me to put my lift arm, your chain, and your anti-sway bar all on this, here, right there, all on this one pin. And you'll see that on the bush hog. And as we're covering this, and I'll mention it again when we're doing it, the order I run them in is the chains, the height chains, are the closest to the implement, then it's the lift arm, and then your anti-sway bars go on the outside. So here we are back on the right side of the machine. I'm a little far forward. And you can see I can't quite pick this up because the right side over there has my height set, so I can use my leveling box. And there we go. Put your linch pin in. And then you want to hook up your top link. Alright, now that I've got both the lift arms hooked up, I'm going to take my top link. I know I was going to do this. Take your linch pin out, adjust it to where the hole lines up with the holes on your implement. And then what you do, if you want your implement to dig in more, you shorten your top link. If you want to dig in less, you can lengthen your top link. This also works for your bush hog. You can adjust your height up and down on the bush hog, which we'll see that when we hook that up. So as of right now, I'm hooked up. So let's just pick this thing up and move it around. And I need to move this out of the way anyway, and then we'll come back and we'll hook up the bush hog. Now that we have this sit where we want it, you want to make sure you have your brake engaged and the tractor in gear with it turned off so it doesn't roll back on you. You should do that while you're hooking it up as well. But taking it off is just exactly opposite of putting it on. Undo your top link. Sometimes you have to adjust it a little bit because it might be sitting a little crooked from where it was. And you can let that drop if you want, or you can just shorten it up by cranking it in a little bit and get it past your uprights. And if you're wondering, this cultivator, this set of cultivators is a Ferguson 9BO. I think Ford Dearborn made some similar ones. But just take your lift arms off next. If you have anti-sway bars or chains on, you want to take them off at this time. Sometimes these might be shifted over and you can't get your lift arm off of the pin. You can undo your check chain, slide your arm off. That'll give you, about that much more room. You can take your lift arm off, then hook your check chain back up. Put your implement's linch pins back in so they're there when you need them, and you're unhooked. Let's go grab your bush hog now. Okay, so we're backed up to the bush hog here. Now the big difference between the bush hog and the cultivators is cultivators are light. You can move them around. The bush hog's a lot heavier. So if the lift arms, like say you got the left one on and the right one is too far forward, you'll have to get on the machine and back it up to kind of cock the bush hog side to side until that pin will line up with the lift arm. Or if you're not comfortable doing that, I have a 6-foot digging bar that I'll put under the bush hog, and I can manipulate it around to help it line up. Okay, so the same thing here. If we're going to hook up the left side first, the difference being we're going to put a height chain on it. So I put that to it. The link goes to the outside. The flat piece goes closest to the implement. And you can see I'm just a little far back on my lift arm. Now you can get on the tractor and pull it forward. You can take a digging bar and move the bush hog back whatever way you want to do it. Sometimes you can rock the machine just a little bit and get it to go on there and then just kick it on. There we go. Alright, so we got the height chain and the lift arm on now. So here's my adjustable anti-sway bar. Most people will put the nut back towards the implement. With the shorter pins that I have on my machine, I have to have the one that's perfectly flat to the front. I need to get longer pins for it. Once you get everything together, put your linch pin in, get dirt all over the threads, and then attach your top link, just like you would on the cultivators. Okay guys, so here's the cutter all set up. I don't have the overrun clutch, I don't have the PTO shaft hooked up quite yet. But basically on my chains, I go chains, lift arm, and then off on the right side I put the stabilizer bar. Eventually I may put one off on the left side as well, but I just have the one at the moment. So the chains go up. I have 8 free links on each side. And I come up through the center and I have the chains hanging out to the outside just to keep anything loose away from the rotating shaft. When I set this up, typically I like my wheel to be, if it's in the straight back position, about a ½ inch to an inch off the ground. But this machine is ready to cut. And having these chains keeps it in the same position all the time unless I just lift it up. Which point now I can unhook the Carter key and I can actually just use it in draft control if I wanted to. But where I'm cutting today, I don't have to lift it up and go up and down very often. Okay, so we got our old spare PTO shaft in the vise, and the reason I have this, it's actually got a slight bend in it. I pulled it out of I can't remember if it was a TO20 or a 9N40. It was one of the two. But you see we have a hole here in the shaft. I don't know if it shows up on camera or not, but we also have a groove here. Now the groove is what the other PTO clutch attaches to. So to put this on, you just line up your splines, press your plunger down. You want to push it all the way up on, and then pull back. And it's on there. And it's functioning properly. To take it off, just push your plunger in, and it slides off. So as always, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell. It helps the algorithm a lot. We'll see you here next time under the shed.